Join me by the candlelight. It wasn't much of a summer, and fall was coming in fast. The leaves were changing into beautiful colors, and the air was getting crisp. It's been almost a year since Luna's brother Jackson disappeared. She still has nightmares and still clings onto hope that he'll come home one day. She tells herself, "I know he can't be dead. No proof of that was found. He has to be out there, somewhere." She can't help but be angry at her parents for moving them here to Minnesota. Jackson had been so insistent that he didn't want to leave Atlanta. Luna had found a niche in this new place. She fit in well and made friends quickly. Jackson wasn't so lucky. He never fit in here. Recently, Luna's curiosity had been driving her crazy, wanting to know what happened up there in the Northwoods. She had voiced this to her parents, but she hadn't told them about the nightmares. She was beginning to wonder if they were nightmares or something more. She had started seeing Jackson in her dreams. He was telling her, "Luna, stay away. Do not come looking for answers." Nighttime came again, and she started dreading going to sleep. She dreaded the nightmares. You see, each time, Jackson looked much worse. At the beginning, he looked like himself, like she remembered him. But with each nightmare, he was decaying. She felt herself dozing off, and remember saying to herself, "Don't dream, Luna. Don't dream." The next moment, she saw a campfire. She saw 6 people around the fire. They were talking to each other, and all of a sudden, they disappeared. They were behind her now. There they were. Jackson, Taylor, Mike, Andy, Marcy, and Zach. They all, in unison, said, "Do not come looking for answers. You won't like what you find." Each of them were in a partially decayed state. She knew in her heart they were dead by now. But how? She needed answers. The next day in school, her friend Alyssa came up to her in the hall. What the hell happened to you, Luna? You look awful." "The nightmares are getting worse. It's driving me crazy, not knowing what happened to them," replied Luna. "Luna, we were all trying to think of something to do this weekend. Why don't we go up there? I mean, everyone is curious, and maybe it would give you some peace of mind." Jackson's words rang in Luna's ears. "Do not come looking for answers." "Why don't we talk to a few of the guys and see what they think?" said Alyssa. The thought of going into the Northwoods made Luna's skin crawl, but she desperately wanted answers. Finally, the lunch bell rang. Luna wandered over to her usual table with Alyssa. There at the table was Alex, Alyssa's twin brother, and Jake and Brian. Alyssa and Alex had known them since kindergarten. Alyssa brought up the idea of going up to the Northwoods this weekend. Jake was the first to speak up. "Are you crazy, Alyssa? Is this a joke?" "No, it's not a joke. Luna needs answers, and maybe we can find some." Jake snapped back quickly. "Nothing personal, Luna, but if the entire sheriff's department and the majority of the town couldn't find anything, what the hell makes you think that we can?" Luna looked up from her tray. "I know it probably sounds crazy, but I think we'll find something, Jake." Jake replied, "Maybe that something is something we won't want to find." Brian and Alex sat silent. "Well, Alex," said Alyssa, "what do you think?" Alex thought for a moment, then looked over at Luna. "Hey, Luna, you know I love you like a sister, but maybe some things are better left alone." "And what about you, Brian?" asked Alyssa. Brian had a strange look on his face. I think we should talk to Zach's dad. Zach always said there were tales about the Northwoods. Hell, that's why he went. Let's not let curiosity get the best of us. Alyssa rolled her eyes. Okay. Let's go over there and see if he'll talk to us. Sound good? Brian replied, I think it would be a little overwhelming if we all go. Alex, will you go with me? Alex, reluctant at best, said, Sure, why not? We can go today if you want. Okay, meet me in the gym. Phys Ed is my last class. The final bell rang and Alex and Brian were on their way to Zach's father's house. How do you think he'll react when we bring up the subject? Asked Alex. I don't know, to be honest, but I think he knows something. It's at least worth a try, said Brian. As they approached, they saw Zach's father in the yard. Hi there, Mr. Morning Bear. We were wondering if we could talk with you about something, Brian asked. We can go in the garage. I have a feeling what it is you've come about. They were sitting in the garage and Brian was trying to figure out the best way to breach the subject. But there was no need. Louis Morning Bear was a big man. He stood well over 6 feet, and to say the least, Brian and Alex were a bit intimidated. You've come about Zach, haven't you? You want to know about the Northwoods. There's been stories passed on for generations about that place. Many people have gone there and never seen again, said Louis. Alex sat perfectly quiet, still in shock that he seemed to know what they came for. What is up there, Mr. Morning Bear? What happened to them? Brian asked. Louis seemed to ignore the question. Are you going up there? If that's your plan, you're not going alone, said Louis. When Brian and Alex told the girls the news, they couldn't believe it. I've got to say I feel safer going with Mr. Morning Bear, said Luna. They all met up at Louis's place that evening. It looked like Louis was going bear hunting with all the weapons he had in the back of his truck. But a mile away from the Northwoods, Louis pulled over. The kids followed behind and pulled behind him. Is something wrong? Brian asked. We need to prepare, said Louis in a stone voice. We won't be the hunters. We will be the prey. We must be ready. What we may face in there is something you'll never believe existed. What the hell is in there? Asked Alex in a panicked tone. Louis figured the time had come to tell them. You want to know what happened to my son and the others? I'll tell you. It's the Wendigo. There's only one way to destroy it. It must be burned. The Wendigo has a heart of ice. The ice melts. The Wendigo dies. The girls stood in fear of what they just heard. Alex and Brian couldn't believe their ears. A Wendigo? What the hell is that? Asked Alex. It's an ancient supernatural being. It hunts to survive, and what it hunts is humans, said Louis. To hell with this. Come on, Alyssa. We're getting out of here now. This is insane, said Alex. If you don't believe, it's better you go back now, because you won't stand a chance, said Louis. Brian looked at Luna, who had remained quiet until now. What do you have to say, Luna? Brian asked. I want to know what happened to my brother. I'm not going back. Luna insisted. You and the girl can ride with me if the other two want to leave. Now is the time. Brian tossed Alex's keys. I'm sorry, Luna. I've got an awful feeling about this. I can't do it, said Alyssa. Alex and Alyssa left in Brian's car. Brian and Luna were determined to go forward. When they got to the Northwoods, they had a plan. They would lure the creature out, and if fate was on their side. Just as they had lit the bonfire, they heard a noise. Do not look up. Do not make eye contact, said Louis. Sure enough, the beast started out of the tree line. Luna couldn't help herself. She had to see. What she saw struck her soul with terror. There it was. The demon stood over 15 feet, the horrid fangs dripping with blood. But where was Lewis? Oh my God! He left us! He left us here alone! Brian screamed. Just then, they heard another scream. Not a scared scream. It was like a war cry. Lewis had made his way around the beast. He came in charging with huge silver spears in each hand. The Wendigo was intent on its prey. Just as it made a lunge towards Brian and Luna, Lewis jumped on its back. He plunged the spears deep into the beast. The sound it made was almost deafening. The silver would only weaken the beast. Lewis knew what needed to be done. It had to be bathed in fire. The beast seemed to continue towards its prey, almost in a crawl, toward his prey and towards the fire. Just as the beast got close enough to lunge, Lewis, with an almost superhuman strength, propelled the beast into the fire. He continued to plunge the spears into the chest of the beast. Brian and Luna could not believe their eyes. The spears were doing more damage now. They were ripping the flesh off the beast. The sounds, the moans, sounded like something from the pits of hell itself. Lewis started chanting. They couldn't make out the words, but the sight was otherworldly. What they saw through the flames was something no one would ever believe. It wasn't just Lewis and the beast any longer. There were several others. They looked like warriors, but they were translucent. They all were chanting and ripping away at the beast. When it was over, all that remained was Lewis. "What the hell was that?" Brian screamed. "It was what we needed. It was the ancestors," Lewis said. "Is it over?" Luna said, with tears pouring down her cheeks. "It's over, child. But you must never tell what you saw here tonight. You must never come here again. You must never speak of the Wendigo."